Hello guys, we're going to start here in just a second. Just going to share the link and such. Hi Eli, how you doing? Any more seasons? Alright, let me audio check. Alright, audio's good. Alright, 2027, okay. Alright, so So today's day 2 of the War1 Climax, and I'm just starting this. I just realized I forgot to edit and schedule a pre-scheduled video for today. So I know what I'll be doing after the stream here. Oh man, second week in a row I've done this. Ugh. In all honesty, I really shouldn't be doing the 5 o'clock airings. I really should push it to 8, just cause it just gives me more time to correct if I do forget. Yeah, moving in 2028, I see. Hi DPS, how you doing? All right, we're just starting up, so you didn't miss anything. So this is day 2 here. So far these are the leads. So far, top 2 will move on to the doing good, doing good. Just remember that I forgot to edit a video that's supposed to come out today, so it's one of those things, but it was worse last time because I didn't remember till like almost midnight last week. Red was redacted. She called them the Washington Redactives. And B bracket 3-way tie. So another 6 matches. Main event's gonna be an open challenge for the TWN Women's Title. Winner will have Hall of Fame eligibility. Let's see. And yeah, let's get things started here. Let's start with King and those two start. So let's find a different one this time. Let's do Dean and Jeff Hardy. We'll start with those two. See how that goes. Yeah, you told me yesterday, I believe. I think you did. I don't know. Maybe it's something different.
Fight!
Alright. Snapmare there. Another snapmare. Kitchen sink trip. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be tight knit. It's gonna be close, I will say that much, because since it's only 5 wrestlers, that means it's gonna be, I feel like there's gonna be some ties. We might see some extra matches. Jaguars and Panthers, that's interesting. That's a lot of teal.
Give up? Give up?
That's a teal bowl right there. Like, highlight blue, teal color bowl right there for those 2 teams.
Give up? Give up?
Ooh, to the armbar.
Give up? Give up? Give up? Give
5
up?
minutes gone.
One!
Oh, the clover leaf from Jeff.
Give
here.
up? Give up?
Yeah! Drop kick. Schoolboy.
1, 2!
All these matches
Yeah!
have 30-minute time limits, so we really shouldn't be seeing any draws, really. In this game, it's not super common to see a match go to 30, a singles match go to 30 minutes. Tag matches and more, well, they'll easily go there sometime. Swinging neck breaker. Yeah! Jawbreaker counter. Perfect handoff. Oh! Yeah! I mean, it would be.
1, 2!
Let me see there. Yeah! Face crusher. Yeah! Oh, D needs a low drop kick there. Yeah! Oh, dodges that attack. Misses that one though. Swinging neck breaker. Ooh, double underhook power bomb into the clover leaf.
Give up? Give up? Give up?
10 minutes gone.
Oh, Jeff holds out. Roll up.
1, 2!
Oh, almost had him. Toss him out of the ring.
1,
Oh, Jeff going
2,
on a run here to a
3,
diving cross
4,
body to the outside.
5, 6,
Works the leg. Dragon
7,
screw.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Oh, German.
13.
Jeff comes back in with the chair, takes a swipe, misses. Drop kick in the back. Strike trading between the competitors.
Ah! Yeah!
A lifetime. Well,
Yeah!
I don't think any team has won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl and then immediately moved to a different city. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Come on!
It might have back in the olden times when
1,
money was
2.
scarce, but I don't know about current times. Roll up from
1,
Dean.
2, 3.
Oh, Dean with the win. '94, great opener here. IGW gets on the board with 5. Dino Machino. Hi, Gray Man. How you doing? All right, since Gray Man is here, let's get Triple H a match here. Oh, let's save. That's good. All right, so let's see. Triple H. Last one was. Let's do Triple H and Onita. Let's see how that goes. Well, for 2028, I assume Axe is still doing the hashtags at that point.
Ugh.
Triple H, current double champion at TCW. Also, almost done with the current Hall of Famer conversion,
Fight.
just working on the Legion of Doom. I'm like an inch away of being done with Hawk, and then I got Animal. And then I'll work on whoever gets voted into the Hall of Fame after we conclude the season. I'll work on those guys. Then I'll work on the promotion guys, whoever gets picked. Now, I'll announce this in the Discord. I know I said 8. Guys, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. I realized that
3,
I don't know if I can do
4,
40
5,
guys within a reasonable span
6,
of time. So I think
7,
what I'm going to do is
8,
I'm going to make
9,
the draft
10,
bigger than planned.
11,
But
12,
I'm probably going to reduce it
13,
from 8 to 6
14,
because
15,
I can
2.
certainly get 30 guys done within a reasonable span of time. But 40 might be a bit much.
Give up. Give up.
However, having said all that, I do plan on the draft being pretty extensive. But I will say though,
Give up.
I will say the guys you draft, they're probably not going to be available right away. You might have to wait a little bit before they're available to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, like for when you guys book stuff for
1,
next
2.
season, like for if not at least half the season, probably the whole season, you'll probably have to work with other promotions to fill a card. That's just the way it's probably going to end up being.
Give up.
Because most
Give up.
guys' rosters, there's
Give up.
probably going to be. I mean, even with the Hall of Famers, you guys have
5 minutes
guys.
gone.
I don't think people will have. Oh, he's
1,
missed.
2.
I don't think you guys will have enough to do like a full stick match call by yourself.
1, 2.
Ooh.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh
8,
yeah, also the weather
9,
shock going from
10,
Florida to Canada.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Oh,
One,
Nico almost got caught out
2,
there.
3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Triple H last show won a very close match against Brock Lesnar. Oh, we got interference. Tommy Dreamer coming out to help out Triple H. No. Yeah, well, Jaguars in the snow is a pretty interesting combination there. I don't know, like, NFL, I don't think the NFL has ever hosted an outdoor stadium during snow time. If they ever book an outdoor stadium, it's always like in a tropical area.
10 minutes
And I
gone.
think the biggest reason why they do that is because it's the Super Bowl. They don't want to, that's what, Dreamer Driver. It's the Super Bowl. They don't want to have to deal with weather issues along with everything else. Pile Driver. Triple H might be in trouble here. Onishi here was a founder, one of the founders, is not the de facto founder of FMW. FMW was a Japanese wrestling promotion from the 80s and 90s that developed a huge
1,
cult following
2,
for
3.
hardcore antics. Triple H with the win. Well, more. We're gonna get some more points on the board here. $84, not bad there. All right, next up, get King a match here. Who's in trouble now? Like, yeah. MetLife. Who does Lincoln Financial Field? Already seen him against Dean. Already seen Jeff. So I guess King and Sabu going at it next here. Should I can save? Eagles. Eagles and Giants. I mean, yeah, but you gotta keep them. But the Eagles and Giants games, are there arenas? Do they have a optional closed roof or not? We all have our talents. Well, I think those two are specific circumstances. Because New York, I think they had their thing was relatively new and they wanted to show it off. And plus, it's in New York. It's one of the biggest cities, so they know they'll get instant sellout. Philadelphia, when was the Philadelphia Super Bowl held? Like, one that hosted that stadium hosted. Prague or something. You know, I can't tell you, growing up playing high school football, I can't tell you how many times when we were visiting stadiums, it was called Veterans Stadium. Like, there's so many veteran stadiums that we've been to, either football or another sport. I think because a lot of local places they build arenas around like veterans and stuff, which is cool and all. It's just funny how many stadiums I encountered growing up were veteran stadium or like memorial veteran stadium.
Give up.
Radiant Flush. One thing to keep in mind for a lot of you guys, one thing to keep in mind during the conversion is, and this is something I've kind of discovered that there are a lot of moves that are made on Steam that aren't on PS4, but there's also moves on PS4 that aren't on Steam either. So some of these models I'm converting, they may be a bit different than they are here. So when you go use these models for your match ups and stuff, some wrestlers who may have been dominant may not be as dominant, and vice versa for the ones that aren't at the moment. So you definitely are gonna want to, like when you do get your roster, kind of take a look at everyone and see if anyone's still worth keeping or not. People in Toronto. To be honest, I don't know how many people. You know what? I am intrigued how many people actually want to see the NFL worldwide. Because I know, Eli, I know.
5 minutes gone.
But I'm curious on. Ooh, sunset flip into a cover.
1, 2.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you can still cut guys and stuff. I will say. In the revamp, there's not, the only tournament guys you're going to have are Hall of Famers. Like, everyone is going to have a cutoff date eventually. However, I'm not going to say it with specific contracts or anything like that. It's more to do with, like, a combination of things. Like guys who are going to be available for drafting. Like, everyone's going to have to give up a certain amount of guys for the draft. I was going to do it this season, but with the conversion, it's kind of, I feel like it's a bit, it doesn't make sense to do it this season. But next season, for the draft, I plan on all promotions having a number of people they'll have to, like, put up for a draft. Now, the amount, I don't know the amount, how it's going to work either. It's the same for everyone. It will vary on standings or something. So that will vary. But, and also I plan on, like, if guys get injured a certain amount of times during the season, they may consider retirement or leaving a promotion, that kind of thing. So I don't plan on anyone's rosters being like super stable because I kind of want the challenge of having specific wrestlers come and go, because I feel because the biggest thing that I kind of want to put back in TWN is wrestlers being changed on a fast pace. Which I know is hard to do because we get attached to our rosters, and reasonably so.
1, 2.
I just kind of, but I know some people like to do certain plans for certain wrestlers for some points, and I think it's just easier to make it so that wrestlers flow through promotions easier. Plus, if new people want to come in, I want to make sure that a decent amount of recognizable faces are available for them to use. If they come in and all the big names are already taken, then they kind of don't know what to do. Even MMA can. Well, considering the smallest NFL stadium holds like 60,000, and I think the smallest stadium to host the Super Bowl was Ford Field with 65,000. I assume they're probably going to want at least 60-some thousand.
1, 2.
You'd be surprised, Eli.
1, 2, 3.
You know what, Grayman, since you're... Oh, Sabu got to win. You know, Grayman, since you're from Canada, do you know the specific reasons why the CFL in Canada are very against NFL having teams in Canada? Because I think I know, but I'm fuzzy on the reasoning why. Right? Sabu with the win. I got an 88. Another 5. Protection. I thought so too, because from what I remember, I think it was because they didn't want. Because the CFL has been around for a long time, like I think early 1900s actually. I think longer than the NFL. And because there's so few like markets in Canada for football teams, I think they're afraid if NFL starts putting teams in Canada, it would hurt the CFL financially. And 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 all that kind of stuff. I think that's a big reason there. Because let's keep in mind that Canada, I mean, NHL is North America. It's not just one country for NHL. NHL was founded with both countries in mind, so that's different. But NBA and MLB, there's not markets in Canada big enough to support their own basketball and hockey leagues, at least on the major league level, from what I know at least. And Canada, I mean football, I believe it's enough to support Canadian football since it's around forever. But that's just what I know. You know, it's funny. Canada did do an experiment in the 70s where they actually had teams in America, and it did not work. I read it in Wikipedia somewhere a long time ago, but it is kind of ironic they did that, though. Like, what time period? Yeah, I get that. It's just, yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, and like I said, I just think that they're very protective of the product. And I don't 80s and 90s, okay, that makes sense. Very safe. I just think that I just think that with the amount of money NFL generates, I just don't think they're confident that CFL would survive if NFL puts teams there. And I don't blame them. To be honest, I don't think they would because the NFL is such. I mean, CFL has a long history too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if the NFL put teams in Canada if the CFL would. Because let's be honest here. If there's Yeah, because to be honest, I feel like if they if the CFL had to compete in markets with Montreal or whatever, like I think with NFL equivalents, I don't think they'd succeed. And to be honest, I don't think and I don't think the CFL could survive if too many teams went under. Because there's only like 9 teams, right? 8 or 9 teams. Oh yeah, totally. And let's be honest, I don't know if I would want to call the CFL a feeder league technically because they do have their own thing in their own history. It's just the way things work out with how they have their rosters. Yeah, I think I there's because here's the thing, Eli. There's a reason why there's only one pro football team in America. Because any other pro football team that wants can't compete because everyone goes straight to the NFL. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cuz CFL has different rules, different vibes. Yeah. I mean, it's just different, you know? It's just one of those things. So I should probably get another match going. Let's see, last match. Let's do Neidhart and Lesnar. We'll do that. Yeah, but they didn't last, Eli. That's the thing. The World Football League and USFL didn't last. I mean, the only reason why the XFL is lasting as long as it is right now is because the NFL product has been taking a nosedive last several years, and they want to experiment with the minor league system in America for football players, and it's been working so far. So they have a minor league, just like baseball has a minor league. Well, I think WFL was more 70s. AFL was 60s. Now, AFL could have done it. AFL could have easily kept up with NFL. But they knew more money is in for like them to combine than to be separate. And it was true. They made a shit ton of money for it. Like, it was totally the right call to make. Well, NFL Europe was an attempt at minor league in football in Europe. It failed because it was chump league. Like, no European's gonna spend money to see some chump league. That's why their London games are so successful, because they're actual teams people want to see compete. Handy. To be honest, I don't know. I think the struggle with getting Europe to care about like NFL football is that I feel like the only way it could work, you almost need a Golden Knights scenario. We got a new team come in, and out of nowhere it's just immediately like contenders. Like, if you can do that, you win fans over. I think it's just hard to win. It's just hard because there's already sports established in England, because they got to compete with soccer, and that's a tough sport to compete with in Europe. It just is. But I think it's doable. But I think if they're going to have teams in Europe, I don't think they could just have one or two teams. I think they need their own division or their own conference there. Because traveling is going to be a pain in the ass. So they need to have a select amount of teams there so they could travel within each other. So it makes it very rare for them to travel outside of their continent. That's the only way it would work. Yeah, exactly. Insane travel. Hi, Fear. How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I've been thinking, I know I talked about Eli about it last night. Oh, at 5.
5 minutes gone.
2.
The way, if you're going to do NFL across the world, what you need to do is you need to do like 2 more conferences. Maybe one in Europe and one representing everywhere else in the world or whatever. Like, and based on geography and have them travel in between.
2.
Because you can, I don't think you can have like
6,
only a couple teams
7,
in Europe. You need
8,
to have a lot.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
doing good, Fear.
16,
Yeah, exactly.
17.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no, they got
4.
it in a loop.
1, 2.
Yeah, doing good, Fear.
Break.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of logistics to it. And then you have to think about, well, do we want to host a Super Bowl in Europe at some point? And that's a huge thing there, too, because how many Americans are going to be happy about an NFL, a Super Bowl in Europe? We've had the Montreal machine in there.
Break.
Oh, I don't know, Eli. I mean, you'll have to look that up. Triple backbreaker there.
Ten minutes gone.
Oh, he's still the F5. Good lord. Football league. The Montreal Machine was a football league?
Break.
Jim, yeah. Jim. You know, believe it or not, Neidhart was a TWN champion for a little bit. I don't think even Bret Hart's been a TWN champion. Okay. Well, when did that league exist, Eli? Side bear hug. Oh, and he taps. Freaking Brock just squeezes life out of him. Another 88 there. That must have been minor league football. Was that in Canada? Alright, let's get View Japan here. Either we already well let me look that up. I'm curious on that. Alright, so I want to get View in. Both these guys, I know we are going to see some guys twice in some of these. World League of American Football. Okay, let me look that up. Let's do... We always saw FTOA last match, so we'll do Sabu again against Takayama. Let me look that up. So when I look that up, NFL Europe pops up. So it began as the World League of American Football with 10 teams. It's minor league football, including 7 in North America. After a 2-year break, it returned in 95 as a European-only league with 6 teams. In 98, the name changed to NFL Europe. Then in 2007, it became NFL Europa. The league ceased operations after the 07 season. So yeah, it's pretty much the precursor to NFL Europe, a minor league thing. Man, can you imagine trying to get in the NFL and they're like, yeah, we're going to send you to NFL Europe, so pack a bag, you're going to be in Europe for a while. At least with the minors, you could still be in America. Not only do we not want you on our team, we don't want you in the same country as us.
Fight!
Man, this is going to be an interesting combination here.
Give up?
Takayama, it's a New Japan Pro guy. He's the guy that has the infamous Dan Severn fight where they traded punches for like 5 minutes straight.
Give up?
I mean, in fantasy, sure. In real life, I don't know how that... in real life, that'd be tricky.
Give up?
Fuck, yeah, pretty much. Oh, man. No, it was Don Fry. I mixed the two up. Yeah, I mixed them up, and I don't really do that, but for some reason I was thinking Dan Severn, but it was Don Fry, yeah. Yeah, I saw the video of that. It was sad, yeah, because he, like, recently, I don't think it was too long ago, he was in a wrestle match, and he got paralyzed, which was crazy. I think that's one of the biggest hesitations, because, you know, for a while I thought about maybe trying a wrestling school out, and then I see the scary situations like with draws and, you know, Hayabusa and them about, like, getting paralyzed and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. Ooh, flying knee from the corner.
Give up? Give up?
But side suplex. Counter. Going up top. Ooh, dodges that. Roll up.
1, 2.
Two with it. Pile driver. Back to the Raven clutch there. Oh, he's all bloodied up. He's trying to fight out of it. He does, but man, that's a lot of damage. Ooh. Cover.
1, 2.
Almost had him with that. Butterfly suplex. Oh, he just stole a maneuver. Right into the iron bar.
Give up. Give up.
Low blow. Oh, hits him with some fire. Yeah. Yeah, it is, in all honesty. It's Sabu is one of the trickiest wrestlers I had to convert over in game, because when I do moveset reacher, so many of his moves are like weapon assisted or something like that. I'm hoping when I convert him over to Steam that it's a little bit easier.
Give up. Give up. Give up. Give up.
Oh, man. Takayama's getting some help here. Is that Onita? It is Onita. He's got a cigarette in his mouth, too. Oh. Sabu might be in trouble here. German.
1, 2.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys make some pretty good edits and stuff. It's just for... Yeah, exactly. That's been a lifesaver. Really, in all honesty, since a lot of... The reason why it's kind of been slow is a lot of the Hall of Famers are older models, so I kind of have to re-update them too, along with everything. That's why it's been taking me a little longer than it probably normally would. Like, a newer edit, like, wouldn't be much of a problem. Like, because when I look through all the edits, I immediately remember, like what I done to convert them. Like, all the videos I watched just beam through my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need to do any more with this. I can just do it straight. Yeah, exactly. 78 with that win there. Sabu with another win. Yeah, I just a lot, and I've been doing a lot more with the creative moves, because I got a lot more breathing room on Steam than I do on PS4. The trick above all is just because even though like the edits are great, it's also move accuracy, because a big thing too is a lot of those edits are built around like a ranking for the wrestlers, and I'm evening everyone out. So I can't have like Mean Street Posse using jobber moves, for example. I kind of have to still maintain the evenness, because some promotion may want to push Pete Gas. All right. Let's see. After this match, we'll have the TWN Women's Open Challenge for that TWN Women's title. Let's do Candy Cane here. We just saw Future Pro and PCCW last, so one of these guys is gonna have their third match here. Let's do PCCW was last. I guess Brock Lesnar and Candy Cane is gonna be next here. Fuck PCAS. All my homies love Joey Evans. Oh my god, that's funny. Like, no joke, converting the Mean Street Posse was probably some of the hardest edits I ever have to convert. I had to do so much research, it wasn't even funny. Not only research and moves, but then trying to find the moves on Fire Pro. Oh, I mean, good lord. I mean, Pete Gas was the toughest. Rodney was Rodney was tough too, but a little bit better. Joey Abs was probably the easiest because he was a legit professional wrestler, so I had more to work with. But I eventually found, stuff and made it work. But good lord, but the other thing too with the conversions too is the fact that, like, for example, like when I'm doing LOD in PS4, I had their back grappling was just be a strong sidewalk slam, but there isn't a back strong sidewalk slam on Steam, so I have to do digging to find different back grapple moves for them for that. I will say this about the Steam version of the game: it's not as good as a search engine as PS4, because PS4 you could go more specific on what you're looking for without typing names in. You can't really do that with the Steam version, so you kind of have to do more exploring, which I don't necessarily mind. But yeah, it's. But I know once I get to Mean Street Posse at some point, it's gonna be tough because all of their back grapple moves are strong sidewalk slams, which I couldn't find. So I know I'm gonna have my work cut out for me when I get to the Mean Street Posse, which is probably gonna be a while because they're pretty low priority. Yeah, you can click back grapple. You just can't be like, I want this to be pounding body or strike or kick. You can't do that. It's you can do grapple. You can do the position of the move like corner and stuff. Typically that, yeah, but on PS4 I found a front grapple strong sidewalk slam and a back grapple sidewalk slam, because there is a back grapple sidewalk slam in game, but it's a medium grapple. And I don't like having medium grapple moves in the big grapple category because it's a weaker move and a strong grapple move. It doesn't toughen it up bigger like in the 2K games. Like a medium grapple move's medium grapple. There's no changing it unless you edit the move in Move Editor. Um, but trying to think. What else? What else? But yeah, but yeah, you can get super specific on it. But Sidewalk Slam can be either one. It's just I just haven't found an edit for it. At least not yet. Maybe I'll get lucky. I mean, I could always make one my own. I just gotta figure out, because if I'm gonna make a strong grapple version of a medium grapple move, I have to make sure the damage represents that. The only way I discovered so far is the difference between in-game medium pile driver and a jumping pile driver, which is most default driver on the big grapple closest to it, is a jumping variation. There is a little. I just look at the numbers and I just take the medium grapple and just buff it up the same. That's the best I found so far for that. But in all honesty, I haven't really needed to do that because typically I could find one online. I just download that and save the time. But I might have to do that to make it easier because, and in all honesty, when it turns to the LOD, it was kind of a bullshit way of doing it anyway, because I was getting really frustrated and I just decided to make all of them, give them all the same move, and it's kind of lazy on my part because, in all honesty, I've been doing some research in Hawk and he's never done a sidewalk slam, so I kind of got lazy on that part. All right, let's go to Kane and Lesnar here. But yeah, but that's another thing I'll have to keep an eye out is some of these edits may contain moves that I can only get on PS4 and not C. So I'm gonna have to rethink some things as well. So I'm not saying it'll take me forever to do, but it's good. I'm gonna be putting myself in a rat race to get stuff going. So I want. Candy Cane last night kind of got an upset and beat Neidhart, so we'll have to see if he can handle Lesnar. Well, here's the thing. You guys, this season too, you guys can book as many events as you want. There's just no preset schedule. So if one person only wants to do 4 matches, I mean, not 4 matches, 4 shows a season, they could. Or if another person wants to do 8, that's fine too. Like, there's not like, I mean, the limit's 8 shows, but there's no real limit. It's just, there's no minimum either. You guys have complete freedom. Really, the bare minimum is just 1 match per world tour. That's the minimum. Outside of, I mean, you could do a lot more than that. It's just, it's just one of those things where I think, I don't know. But yeah, you can do more than that. I will say this though, I am going to put a new thing next season where you have to do a certain amount of shows to get to do a pay-per-view.
1, 2.
Well, then you share with the promotion. You'll have to, like, for example, like if I want to put on a show and I only got like, see, I got 6 guys and I got a Hall of Famer, that's 7, so I'll talk to, let's say, View Japan and be like, hey, can I use these 5 guys for a show? You know, or 2 other promotions to get 2 or 3 or something like that. But you got to keep in mind, with these promotional matches, you can get bonus rewards if your guy wins. So it's not like there isn't anything to gain from doing that.
Give up. Give up.
So that's the route you have to go. And I could even do a thing where you could like have exclusive partnerships with another promotion.
Give up.
So you guys would just share your roster with each other as you go through your shows. That might be I might do that too, but we have an automatic promotion, so it's a little funky with that route. So we'll have to see on that. But yeah, I think that, and keep in mind too that I am going to be trying to make guys as fast as possible. So you will have opportunities to build your roster throughout the season. It's just the biggest thing is I don't want people waiting to get enough guys to do a show because I don't know how long that's going to take. You know, if you want to do a show, just talk to a promotion and get some guys from that promotion and just put on the show with those guys. You don't have to like wait until an amount of time until you get the minimum 12.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2.
But yeah, for the most part, the system, everything's going to stay the same. I don't really plan on changing the system all that much.
1, 2. Give up.
I will say, though, I will say for the drafting pool, I'm probably going to prioritize a certain group of guys, because these are guys I have to convert over anyway for LLW stuff. Oh, she stole the F5.
10 minutes gone.
Doesn't even go for a pin. Oh, she just got critical. Oh, no. Brock just destroyed her. Good Lord. He didn't like the move being stolen, I see. Alright. Impeccable storytelling. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, don't wait on me getting guys ready. Like, if you want to do shows, just talk to other promotions and work deals out. Like, that's kind of the route to go with it. And to be honest, like, me reducing it to 6 instead of 8, it's just gonna give you guys, make it start earlier, so you guys could, like, get the ground running with it, because I don't want to make you guys wait forever. Because like I said, I don't know how long it's going to take me to convert these wrestlers over to Steam, because each wrestler is going to vary. If it's a newer guy, it'd probably be pretty easy, but if it's an older model, it might take a hot minute. So it's just one of those things where I don't want my conversion rate to hold back, people doing TWN stuff. All right, let's see what the standings are before we head to the main event. Oh no, I plan on the draft being pretty like expensive. Like originally I was thinking 4 rounds, but I think I might do more than that. I'm probably going to do more than 4 rounds. Since I'm probably going to do like I think 6 might be fair. Well, and actually, I'm going to correct myself there with that, because I'm going to give you guys an option to do to buy compensation picks. Because when the season ends, everyone's current popularity point count is going to go toward their high score thing for their promotions, and every promoter is going to get 100 popularity points as a budget for the off season. And what they do with that's up to them. You could also save some of it so when you go into the regular season, you might have a little bit of a lead. Um, well, I don't plan on everyone. I don't plan on everyone drafting to get to the 30 count. In fact, I'm actually gonna have roster limits be less, because I'm gonna have it where wrestlers go through promotions more frequently. So no one's staying like long term who isn't a Hall of Famer, unless it just works out like that. Because I just think that, because I want a constant flow of like wrestlers available. Because like I said, I want to, when new people come in and form a promotion, I want guys available that they recognize. Because some of these guys who come in may not immediately recognize some of the more hidden gem wrestlers, guys like David Flair, or like Bill Watts' son or something like that. All right. A bracket. Let's see. All right. So Sabu and Takayama are leading in the top two spot. Malenko's with 5. King and Jeff have yet to get on the board. In the B bracket, Brock and Triple H tied for 10. Candy Cane and Niter have 5. Nita still yet to get on the board. So looks like PCCW might secure half the slots, 2 of the 4 slots, if it keeps up like this. But we'll have to see, because there's still matches to be held. And we'll do more of those in day 3, but now we're going to get to the main event. Open Challenge. Rhea Ripley's TWN Women's title is going to be on the line. Haven't had anyone put up a wrestler yet, but whoever wins the match and retains or gains that title is going to be Hall of Fame eligible. So there's definitely, and more than one person can be suggested. It can be a multi-man match, like a triple threat, fatal 4-way kind of a deal. Or 3-way dance, 4-way dance. Of course, at minimum, I'll throw a guy in if no one else is, so we have the match going. But yeah, because it's your lady, so you couldn't throw anyone in. So I'll throw in a lady. I'll throw in China, a dream match of sorts. Um, does any other TWN promotion in the chat want to throw in a lady? If I'll give it a minute. If not, then it'll just be a one-on-one match. Now, Eli, you're kind of in a tricky situation with you, because a lot of your roster isn't eligible for partaking. So I don't know. I think the only other lady you could throw in that match outside of Candy Cane, which I think it's the Dead or Alive lady you have. It's the other one that's eligible. But I'll give you a minute to decide. After that, we're gonna get the match going. But yeah. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have the roster limit next season reduced, because I think right now it's 32. I'm probably gonna reduce it to 24. Because in all honesty, even if you do a 10 match pay per view, you're gonna have, if they're all singles, you got the 20. If you're gonna throw in some tag guys, you got 20. That's two tag matches is the full thing, and plus you'll have your minor league roster that you can have partake too. Yeah, because you got to keep in mind that your minor league roster, it has no limits, and your minor league guys can partake in the pay-per-views too. So, and for free, for shows it'll cost, but yeah, so it's not like you can't have your own men there. It's just, yeah, exactly. That the old format was very interesting with that. Okay, it looks like no one else is putting their hat in the ring. So China and Rhea Ripley main event for the TWN Women's Title. Let's see. Oh, sweet! It's left from where it was at. 330, 150. Sweet, I love when it does that. Rhea Ripley just re-won this. Let's see if she can keep it here. It's been a minute since we've seen China in the ring, so she might have a little ring rust, but we'll see if she can pull one out. Alright, let's see how it goes here. To be honest, even though they were generations apart, like if these two like faced off like in their primes, that'd be a great match in my opinion. It'd be so stiff. It'd be one of the stiffest women matches ever. Like I feel like both ladies would have legit black and blues.
Fight!
Yeah, no, Rhea is a lot safer than Charlotte. Charlotte's in a weird spot right now. I remember I was watching this YouTube video, I think it was Wrestling with Regret. He was talking about like Charlotte, and he was like, you know what, out of the 4 horsewomen, I might be wrong on this, on who said this, but out of the 4 horsewomen, like, because Bayley and Becky have changed characters, face and heel and whatever. Sasha Banks, I mean, she's the only one that's left and done her own thing, so she kind of went through a career changes as well. Charlotte's really the only one of the 4 that hasn't done jack shit different. She's still the exact same goddamn character she was from day one. And it shows hard compared to everything else. To be honest, I think her losing to Rhea Ripley before they switched to the Women's World Title at that WrestleMania, I think that was the perfect time for her to leave. I think that was perfect. I don't think she needed to come back, in all honesty. But what other promotion of mine's gonna have her? And here's what the sucky part too. She's not bad in the ring. She's decent. She's a decent wrestler. It's just her attitude just sucks, you know. and she's went through the title
5
train
minutes
so many
gone.
times that I don't know what else you could do with her at this point that doesn't revolve around the title, because she hasn't really done storylines that don't revolve around a belt. Yeah, exactly, Grandman. You got to write down, Pat. Ooh, speaking of Mercedes Moné. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it's kind of like Shinsuke Nakamura. He's in the promotion for a while, then he wins a title, and then he disappears. Like, I don't know why that is. I don't know why every time he wins a freaking title, he disappears. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, the last thing the women's division needs right now is Charlotte Flair. The women's division last year, I think, kind of suffered a little bit. It wasn't as good as the prior year, because the prior year you had Damage Control, you had Bayley, you had Rhea Ripley climbing up the ranks. I mean, there was so much happening in that women's division. And then this year, it's just, last year was very mixed, you know? And that's the thing, I think women's stables like Damage Control are so needed, but WWE's in a weird spot where they got enough ladies for upper cards and mid card titles on the show, but not enough to do multiple tag titles, which is a problem. Yeah, yeah, Tiffany is fantastic. She's definitely a main eventer. Like, they definitely need to start bringing people up from NXT.
Great.
Oh, Diamond Dust. Is that Tanaka?
Great.
Helping China out. Man, I almost didn't recognize him with Mike Awesome hair there. He must be in his youth. No, it's Tanaka, because Tanaka and China are in the same stable. I almost didn't recognize him. But ooh. And you know what? For me, and this is more of the OCD part of me, I feel weird having one belt be the travel belt that's not the world title. Like, if there's one world title that's the travel belt, that's fine. But having something like just the women's tag titles be the travel belts feels kind of weird to me. Like, for me, it's like either all of them travel around or none of them do. That's just kind of the vibe I got from that. But granted, having said all that, I don't know if you could justify having women's tags. I think you could in NXT, but I don't think Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if both need to have women's tag titles. If they do, you're going to have to play the whole title for a long time for a long-term storytelling game. Technically, the men's could, but every show has men's tag titles, so it'd be kind of double. It'd be a little extra to do that with the men's tag titles. And to be honest, I feel like the men's tag divisions on all shows has improved quite a bit this last year, especially with New Day now the tag titles on now tag champs on Raw. I think both shows having their own tag division is the right thing to do.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh, Rhea retains. She'll be Hall of Fame eligible. Yeah, and it's funny because those titles were booked so often on pay-per-views, and then last year the tag titles were barely on pay-per-views, and it bugged me so much. You build all this fanfare about getting new tag titles, and you didn't put them on pay-per-view. Especially when the fucking... Now, granted, the 3-man TLC match for the tag titles, I don't think that was going to be on pay-per-view because I think they planned it on SmackDown after the fact to make up for the fact that those were one of the very few titles, if any of them all, that weren't on pay-per-view. Well, and the thing is, I don't think it was planned as a TLC match for Mania. I think it was going to be a normal tag match if they were going to have it at Mania. I just think they made it a three-man TLC to make up for the fact that the belts were on Mania. But here's the thing, though. I understand why they prioritized the Raw tag titles over the SmackDown tag titles. I'm just calling them that because it's easier to say than the other way. Because because the SmackDown tag titles kind of got over naturally because of that great feud between DIY, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and now the Street Profits are now in it. And it got over so organically, they didn't really need to promote them as well. But the Raw tag titles, they needed help. Because they were kind of losing their steam quite a bit on Raw. So them getting the nod, I think, was the right call long term. It just kind of sucks long term because those SmackDown tag titles, it would have been really nice to see them on WrestleMania. It really would have. But with heel New Day as tag champs, there's so much you could do with that. So the only problem is now they just gotta make the time for it. And this, I've kind of said this before, but I think W's biggest problem isn't the amount of people they have, the way they book storytelling, or the amount of titles they have. I just think the problem is they just need to work on show pacing. There's too much fancy stuff going on. They just need to have straight up matches and promos. That's it. And if they're not willing to change that, then maybe they need to do more shows that feature and divide the roster up more, And because if they're that committed to long-term storytelling, why the hell do you have a 40, 50-man roster if you only intend on using 25, 30 guys 6 months at a time? You know, just just do like 25 to 30 guys on a show, and then just after you're done with that storyline, if they can't find anything else to do with anybody on that roster, just trade them to another show and then go from there. And then you have the draft every year. And let me correct myself. You don't need an extra show. What you need to do is you need to take NXT and it needs to stop being a developmental brand. Because in all honesty, the fact that that show's technically the developmental brand and it pulls better numbers than the main event shows is still ridiculous. And they got freaking evolved now. They don't need NXT doesn't need to be the developmental promotion anymore. I think when they do that draft, I think it should be 3 brands. And the people they draft is either from each other or from Evolve. Or a big free agent signee or something. They don't need to draft from NXT anymore because I just think it's kind of ridiculous. Like if you want each brand to have its own theme of style, that's one thing. But I think it's kind of ridiculous that at this point NXT is still the developmental brand. I think if NXT was treated on an equal playing field, I think it'd be stigmatized. Well, it's weird because Triple H is in charge now. He created NXT. It shouldn't still be like this. Yeah, I want NXT in the draft. I mean, 2 brands in a draft I always thought was not enough. Yeah, exactly. I don't you have 3 brands. Like and with a draft, for example, it'd be like if the NFL when they did their NFL draft, they just drafted between conferences and not teams. That's boring. That's so back and forth, and you can't do a lot with that. You can't do a lot of trades or anything like that. Now, granted, you don't really need to do a lot of that with WWE to begin with their brands, but still, it'd be nice having that third one in the mix creates a lot more room for chaotic awesomeness. But but you have Evolve in NXT. How many developmentals do you want layered in to make Raw and SmackDown look like top tier shit? You do all that, but yet, like I said, NXT gets the most views out of the 3, and yet it's a developmental brand. I'm sorry, but and here's my problem with it as a developmental brand too. It's the fact that you have these wrestlers that stay there forever. Like Trick Williams, he's been there forever. I mean, he's as far as I remember, they still get more watch time than Raw and SmackDown. That's from what I remember. It could be different. If it is different, correct me, because that's from what I remember. Um, But yeah, because because first of all, these people like there's these young people are staying at NXT too long because by the time they get to Raw and SmackDown, they've done so many of the same storyline beats in NXT. There's nothing for them to do in Raw and SmackDown. I mean, look at Carmelo Hayes. I mean, went through all these big storylines in NXT, gets to Raw or gets to SmackDown, and like he's done it all. Let me look. Let me look. I have a phone. I have technology. All right. Since Raw's on Netflix, they're kind of in their own category. Okay. So NXT doesn't get as much nowadays. It probably did more when Vince McMahon was still in charge, but nowadays it doesn't get as much as Raw and SmackDown. But a big reason why they don't is a couple reasons. One, Raw's on Netflix and SmackDown's on is on USA or TBS or whatever. Um, NXT's on CW. It's not exactly on a very well accessible channel. But having said all that, let's be honest here. In discount the viewership thing, even if Raw and SmackDown get more views, that's fine. You know, it is what it is with that. But the biggest factor that I have with it is the fact, like I said, it's the fact that these developmental guys shouldn't be doing all these big time storylines like in NXT for like a gajillion years. You know, like look at Adam Cole when he was in NXT. You know, he was in NXT forever. Why wasn't he on Raw and SmackDown at some point? It's shit like that. Like these guys, they stick around forever. Like look at that Italian the mafia wrestler guy. I forgot what his name is. He has his own stable. He's been there forever. Why the fuck isn't he on Raw and SmackDown? Why is he still on NXT? Like he's doing all these storyline. By the time he gets up there, he's already done the title in all this junk. Yeah, exactly. Like I just think personally, I think and this is what they did with Tiffany. That's the reason why they called Tiffany up so early because she was barely on NXT because she knew she was a main eventer. I mean, kinda. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I think at first a little bit, but I think if you present them as reasonable threats, like maybe an immediate title win or something like that, I don't know. I just think it depends on the presentation of them and how compatible they are. But this is and like I said about Tiffany, that's why they call her up so early because they don't want her wasting her storyline beats in NXT. They want it spent on the main event roster. Okay, they need to do that with all those wrestlers. Like if none of them they feel like could be on the main event scene right away, then they're pretty much just NXT forever. And that's what it feels like with a lot of these wrestlers is that like Chase University, they were over as hell in NXT. Like there's no way they wouldn't be still be over on Raw and SmackDown. But it's too late now because those they couldn't do Chase U at this point on Raw and SmackDown because it would be the same storyline they did on NXT. Now I get that Raw and SmackDown people don't watch NXT religiously, but they're not stupid. Like they're gonna recognize the same beats, so you can't do that again. So if you're gonna do big storylines with these wrestlers, you might as well do them on Raw and SmackDown. Why would you do them on NXT? You know why? Yeah, exactly. Like they're doing I mean, they're doing all this stuff with Ethan Page and it's like, why not just do this on Raw and SmackDown? Like because that's the way I feel about it. Like, people's memories of wrestling stuff, they remember stuff. Like, if you're gonna do a Trick William, yeah, yeah, exactly. You see, you brought up Trick and Mel, and I was just thinking that because here's the thing: once Trick goes up on the main roster at some point, him and Carmelo, you could do something with them, and it'd probably be good. But it's not gonna match what they did in NXT. If you did that shit on the main roster the first time around, it would go gangbusters. But the fact that you spent all that time doing it on NXT hurts them because now they don't have anything to do on the main roster because they did all that shit on NXT. Like, I think if you want, I think NXT, I think, like I said, I think wrestlers just stay on NXT a lot longer than they should. I think I think they need to go up to the main roster faster. If they're going to keep people on NXT and do these big storylines with them, then they need to start presenting NXT as a true third brand. Because if it's going to be a developmental roster show, then they need to treat the wrestlers as developmental. Focus on short-term storylines, great matches, and then after a little bit, put them on the main roster. Like, don't overkill it. Yeah, exactly. You know, and Trick Williams is beyond ready for the main event but they keep him around and it's like, why is he still in NXT? This guy needs to be on the main roster. And that's kind of and I think the reason why a lot of guys also stay on NXT is because this last couple of years WWE's kind of been free agent friendly. And they want to give their free agents time to shine too, but that's where the problem is. Yeah, NXT needs to be the true third brand. I think they need to look on their shows and on their brands and like, okay, because Evolve just needs to be the developmental brand because if you're gonna do why do two developmental shows? You know what I mean? Because Evolve's developmental. You know, I've seen the first few episodes. I haven't kept up with it because I'm just too busy, but it's a developmental show through and through. Okay, NXT is not a developmental show anymore. They like to present it as such because they don't let NXT draft, and they draft from NXT. But with the way they book their wrestlers and the way they do storylines, like it doesn't, they don't feel like, I don't know. Like for me, it's like if you do one decent storyline successful and carry a title pretty well, you're ready for the main roster. You don't need to be there 3 fucking years. If you're there for 3 years, you're never going to be in the main scene. Yeah. Yeah. You see, but here's the thing. And what they should do is what they should do is they need to start moving people around the brands like a territory system. So if a guy feels like he doesn't have anything left to do, put him on Raw and SmackDown, plug him in a feud with somebody, freshen things up a bit. You know, that's what they did in the territory days, and it worked great. Why not do that on WWE? You know, it's just I don't know, and I know I'm in a minority here. I don't think it bothers a lot of people, but you know, and I'm someone that consumes a good chunk of wrestling quite a bit, and I've been watching WWE pay-per-views and show highlights for the last couple of years, and from what I can gather, is that it just feels like a lot of guys spend prime a lot of their prime youth and storytelling potential at NXT where they could have just done it on the main roster. You know, because look at Carmelo. Like, what has he done since he's gone on me? How many NXT guys who have gone on the main roster have succeeded? Like, for example, not succeeded, but like in my opinion, the ratio is the less time you spend at NXT, the more you get to do on the main roster. Because imagine if Tiffany stayed on NXT and won the NXT Women's title and did all these storyline beats. Yeah, exactly. Like I get that. I do. I get that they're young and they're still getting their feet wet. I get that. But here's the problem. You have Evolve now. Evolve can be the place for that. I mean, hell, some of the last couple shows I watched, a good chunk of the NXT roster or former NXT people were on Evolve. So just move the people that aren't clicking to Evolve to work their shit out, and then the people who have it down, who are just a little bit on the young side, just put them on the main roster. No, correct myself, not on the main roster. Just keep the ones that do work on NXT and promote NXT as a true third brand, and then just because it's ridiculous to treat what they do on NXT as lesser than Raw and SmackDown. It is because they got the same amount of titles roughly as Raw and SmackDown do. They have their own. I mean, they have their own pay-per-views. They have their own stories, their own feuds, and everything. Like, they're doing the same things the Raw and SmackDown guys are doing. So why not treat it like that? I mean, if they're going to treat it as developmental, then these guys shouldn't be doing all this stuff in this developmental. It should be a point of like, okay, you got your stuff. True, but here's the other thing too. And this is the part, and another part too. What was I thinking? Um, with Raw, um, it slipped my head. Um, shoot. Um, oh man, what was I completely lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh, this is what I was to say. It's just for me, it's weird because both shows could have the same storyline stuff with these wrestlers, but yet because it's NXT, it doesn't mean as much. But here's the thing, and this is what I was gonna say. Like, say these people, like the WWE people, they know the NXT guys. They know their characters. They know what they're doing. You know, and yet WWE expects them when they go to the main roster to be completely fresh from NXT. Like no one knows who they are, but it's like we all know who that is. Like if a character does well on NXT, a wrestler does on NXT, why change anything when they go on Raw and SmackDown? Everyone knows who they are. And granted, they don't do that really anymore like they used to, but I just feel like that I feel like to take a guy that was on NXT and did all this stuff and then put them on Raw and SmackDown and treat them like jabronis is kind of ridiculous because it's like they've proven themselves. They shouldn't come in as noobs. They should come in as competitors. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why change what worked on NXT? Because it may not be the same now, but for a time, NXT got a lot more views than Raw and SmackDown, and for good reason. And and let's be honest here, a lot of the big people on Raw and SmackDown down were former NXT people, so it's not the same anymore. But at the end of the day, for me, Faxium, yeah, Faxium. Well, here's the thing though, and this is a big problem I have too. Like a lot of tag teams don't feel like tag teams anymore. Like Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi. Like they don't get a tag name. Now, not every tag team needs an official tag team. There's been plenty of decent tag teams that go by each individual name. But the fact that they don't come out together, or if they do, they don't have a unified theme or anything. It's like why are you even a tag team them if you're so egocentric? You have your own entrances still. You're not just some loosely put together team that a guy needed help from his heel stable. Yeah, exactly. Like they don't always have to have a universal name. I'm fine with that, although it would be nice to. I'm fine with that, depending on the situation. But if you're a tag team, be a tag team. Okay, like for example, like it's like if I know it's one thing if you're like Stone Cold Steve Austin fighting against like the corporation and you need to find a tag partner and you finally find a guy and he comes out separately. That's different than, oh yeah, me and him have been tag champions 12 times, but we still get our own entrance music, our own entrances. It's just like, why the fuck are we doing this? We're wasting time. All this bullshit could have had an extra match thrown in. Rocket Sock Connection, exactly. You know, but that type of shit is the biggest reason why the shows are so fucking bloated. Like, there's so many ways you could, like. Because here's the thing, it's not that so much the amount of titles, the amount of wrestlers, and whatever. It's not that that stuff is bad. It's the fact that, yeah, I get it. I get their entrance workers. I do. It's just. I don't know. It's just for me. Like, you got all this stuff going on with titles and rivalries and all that. And look, I get why they have long-term rivalries, especially with belts involved, because they want to be able to be like, okay, all right, you had your match, then we're gonna sit a week or two and build up that rivalry more and focus on. It's like a Ponzi scheme of rivalries and titles. Like, they're constantly have like 4 match cards, and they're constantly like ping ponging around. All right, it's your turn, now it's your turn, and now it's your turn. And I get that. It's not a bad system. It's just, why settle for 4 matches when you can do 5? Why make it so, like, convoluted in the pacing? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a fine system. It just stretches stuff out. And in some storylines I'm fine with stretching out. There's just times where I'm just like, can we just do this in like a few weeks and be done with it? Like, not every rivalry demands 6 months. Or 3 to 6 months. I'm sorry. And a lot of people give shit about the Jey Uso Gunther thing, but I will say this. It was short term and they got it done with and they did it reasonably well, and then it's it for the most part, unless he fights at SummerSlam. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that I think, and like I said, it's not like anything they're doing is necessarily bad. I just think they could do it better. It's like everything's good, but it could be better. Like, I don't mind the amount of titles or the roster or the show stuff. I don't mind that stuff. I just think there's a better way of doing it so that the wrestlers and the titles get promoted in a way that they want to do it in without making people feel like they're wasting time waiting for the next match. Money in the Bank, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to see him as the chaser instead of the chased. That'd be fun. I wouldn't mind that, actually. That'd be interesting. I like that. You know what? You know what? But they should do a double turn. They should turn, like, in SummerSlam during that match. They should do a double turn. They should have Jay turn heel and Gunther turn face. And then you can have Jay join the fucking Dangerous Alliance 2.0. Oh my god. That'd be, do it even better. Like, everyone's thinking Sami Zayn's gonna turn heel on Jay. Have them both turn heel. Have them be the tag team of the group, like a weird conglomerate tag team. um, you know what? I have to. That'd be an interesting thing. I think you almost do it similar to how Brett and Steve Austin did. Like, have 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 like Jay like really do some nasty shit to Gunther, and have Gunther try to fight out of it and stuff, and like have Jimmy come down. Maybe Jimmy can turn heel too, or better yet, maybe have Jimmy try to stop Jay, and then Jay like just unleashes shit on him and just goes ape shit. You know, like, really really made Gunther look like he's like fighting through the pain, and it's just like when you lock Brett, like it doesn't have to be like sharpshooter level, it could be something else, but just have it that equivalent. Yeah, like you could easily present Gunther as like a nonstop fighting badass. Yeah, you could easily do that. Like Gunther is, even though Gunther plays an excellent heel, he's definitely the kind of heel that would fight through any challenge. Yeah, the sleeper hold, exactly. Like like you could easily do it. And Jay's been a heel lots before. I just think it would be interesting to see a dynamic where Jimmy's a face and Jay's a heel. Because we already seen the dynamic of Jay a face and Jimmy a heel, but have that be switch. Have Jimmy be the one that's a babyface. Because I'm kind of digging Jimmy's kind of babyface run right now as Big Jim. I think it's been working well for him. I think at some point you do. And I will say this. I will say this. I feel like, and this might be a minority opinion, Big Jim, I love it. I think that's perfect for him. um, but I will say this. I think, and this is controversial. This is a minority opinion, but I think Jay kind of stole LA Knight's shtick a little bit. Because LA Knight was over when he was doing the Yaz and stuff and all that. But once Jimmy started doing the Yeets, which is kind of similar to the Yaz, and he might be actually, I don't know. And he's kind of doing similar beats to LA Knight to some extent, very small, like ascent, but I feel like there's just certain ways, like he's wearing the glasses when he comes to the ring and stuff, like LA Knight does. Like I feel like there's just little things where I'm like, okay, you're kind of taking a little bit from LA Knight here, because I feel like LA Knight, he's still over. Yeah, LA Knight kind of went through a, you know, the biggest problem is they gave him. Yeah, and well, I think a big problem too is the fact that he had that title match with Reigns at Crown Jewel and he lost. I think that was a mistake. I think he should have won that match. I think he should have won the world title then, and it would have been shocking. It would have been unpredictable. But when you have a guy on fire like that, if you're gonna put him in a title feud, you have to have him win that title. And I think they should have had him do mid card title first. I think putting him immediately into a main event match with Roman Reigns during that was a mistake. I think they needed to like maintain the momentum in a slow term. Oh my god, that would have been amazing. It's funny, I watched that fucking pay per view on my fucking phone when I was visiting my parents. And because I really wanted to watch it, but I don't make a lot of noise by watching on TV. Plus, the TV I don't think had the app at a time. But I was just like sitting there, oh, this is it. It sucks because it's like it was perfect in a lot of ways, but the fact that it was just before WrestleMania, because I think, yeah, and I think if it wasn't before WrestleMania, I think they would have done it. But I think the fact it was just before WrestleMania with the Cody Rhodes story, I think it was just because here's the thing: they actually originally did plan on Cody winning the belt at WrestleMania 39. That was a fully agreed upon thing. But at the last minute, it wasn't even Roman. Even it was like Triple H and Cody. They were like, I don't know if it's the right time for me to win it. And they kind of agreed, and they talked to Roman, and they kind of agreed that they should wait longer, and that's what happened. That's why we didn't get it to 40. Now, granted, him winning at 40 was fantastic, but I remember at the end of 39, I was like, oh man, this is such a downer. After the Elimination Chamber, and then Cody loses at WrestleMania, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a long year. uh, yeah, I think the pec injury was like during SummerSlam before that Royal Rumble where he won. So he was gone for like 5, 6 months or whatever. He was gone for a while. Yeah, it was before 30. It was like SummerSlam of of I want to say what, I don't remember the year, but it was the SummerSlam before. No, Peck was before 39. WrestleMania 39. That was before 39. Yeah, exactly. Because he debuted in WrestleMania 38, and he had the feud with Rollins until like SummerSlam, where he had to stop because of the Peck thing for a few months, and then he came back in Royal Rumble, and then 39 he lost, and then 40 he won, and now 41 he lost the belt after a perfect year on top, and now we don't know what the fuck's going on with Cena except that I'm bummed that R-Truth's fighting him at Saturday Night's Main Event because that means he's not going to win the belt, and I want to, and if anyone's going to beat Cena, that's not Cody Rhodes. And Orton, I'd rather have it be R-Truth. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy? Like, they do this huge thing, and then the fucking Rock goes on a fucking podcast, and it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't mean jack shit. We just made it up because we just wanted to sell tickets and fucking bullshit. And it's like, come the fuck on. You just ruined the greatest thing ever. You're downplaying it like it's bullshit, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, yeah. He's won belts like in WWE and other promotions. He was one of the was NWA champion in TNA for a while. So he's won shit. He's definitely won a lot. So him not winning, it's fine. It's just the story's so there. Like the story's perfect because you have fucking like R-Truth with the childhood hero John Cena, and then John Cena's a heel and he's fucking throwing R-Truth through tables. It's like that's storytelling right there. That's been going on for years. It's like make it a big deal. I mean, I get it if you don't want R-Truth winning the title. I understand that, but it's like, man, that could be so much more than what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine the pop if R-Truth pins Cena and wins the title? I mean, hell, you could go further. Like, have him pin him. Like, if you do it later, like, if you do it after Money in the Bank, you could have him win the title, and then you could have someone with Money in the Bank come down and pin R-Truth for it. That way, R-Truth's champion for, like, a hot minute, and someone else can be champion. And you can do a little belt transfer without Cena eating shit from someone that isn't R-Truth. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's there, and it's just like it'd be so fun, you know. And I get R-Truth is not a long-term champion because he's not young himself, but it's like let's have some fun with it. Because R-Truth is one of the funnest wrestlers in WWE right now. He doesn't really need titles at this point in his career, but yeah, exactly. Like let's have some fun with it. Like not every title reign needs to be a year. Not every title reign needs to have like someone who's super serious, like or whatever. Let someone quirky and fun have the be champion for it. Let R-Truth let WWE just be R-Truth driven. Like let the madness run with R-Truth. And hell, or you could go the opposite with it. Like you could go the opposite with it and have R-Truth like you could have R-Truth's character change as he's fighting Cena, and he becomes like his old self, like Ron Killing style. And you could like make him do the character shift back. Well, here's what I'm thinking with that, because he says he's going to retire at the end of the year. So there's a Saturday night's main event in December. So what I'm thinking is, unless they have him drop the belt before then to someone, I think at the minimum he's probably gonna drop the belt at December Saturday night's main event to somebody. I don't know who it's gonna be. It's probably Cody Rhodes. I don't know. Um, because I know a lot of people are thinking that Cody Rhodes is going to get the belt back after this Mania. I don't know. Personally, Cody Rhodes, I liked him as champion. I thought he looked good with the belt. I thought he did well with it. But yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just I don't know. I just think that there's so much you could do with that, you know, and and there's so many opportunities you could go with this. if you're not afraid of Cena dropping the belt during this run. Yeah, he could do that for 6 months. Well, on the shows, when he shows up, he does this thing where he talks about like. I remember watching a highlight video of it like a week or so ago, where when he appears, he talks about how many appearances he has left, and it's like in the 20s. So he has pre-contract scheduled appearances. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm thinking that too. Now, one thing I would love to see CM Punk would be a great one to beat Cena for it. In all honesty. Yeah, but the idea was that Cena as a heel champion was supposed to be so interesting and fun and different. And they really just kind of took the wind out of it by pretty much deflating all the mythology behind him and Rock teaming up. And then the main event of WrestleMania 41 with Cody and him just sucked. I mean, it was so by the numbers match. It wasn't fun at all. I mean, you couldn't even get the fucking Rock to interfere. Like, what the fuck? You have fucking Travis Scott come down, the fucking scrubby rapper, just come down and help Cena win with one belt shot. One. Cody Rhodes kicked out of a gajillion Roman Reigns spears, but yet somehow one belt shot does it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's just, man, there's just so much they could do with it. Like, there's so many old rivals Cena has in WWE that are still active, like Orton, that they could totally revisit and do fun stuff with. And I feel like they're not going to go through with it because I don't know, but for some reason this run Cena's very like there's this meta thing they're trying to do with Cena with the minimalism, and I don't know if it's working. Like, I like the idea of Cena coming down with like black screens and just his name. I think that's interesting. But then why the fuck do you have him have his theme music? Either change the theme music or have him have no music at all. Like, if you're gonna be minimalist, go all the way with it. Have him wear like all black clothes, like no logos and nothing. Like, just like if you're gonna do something like that, go all the way with it. Don't half it, because I'm sorry, but the minimalist black screens, that effect gets negated when you hear just the same old time as now thing that he's had for a gajillion years. And I get why they're doing that. They're they're doing the meta way of like, you're not getting the heel run that you want from me. And I get that, but it's like, you don't need to try this hard. It's fucking wrestling. Just give us what we want. We're Batista here. Give us what we want. Like, everyone was expecting thugonomics, and we're getting minimalism. It's just like, what is this? Braun Breaker would be fun. Joe Hendry winning that title would be interesting. That would be interesting. Like, there's so much you could do with this. Like, but it's like, but I don't know. I'm just kind of getting to a point where I'm just getting the feeling that this year in WWE may not be as strong on the men's overall. Yeah, 6 months left, roughly. Yeah, he's definitely going to WWE. I have to say this. I know some people think that TNA is getting the shit stick of it, but let's be fucking honest here. It's not like TNA is going to be on equal path with WWE. TNA is a lower brand than WWE, and people just have to accept that fact. Like, them working with NXT is perfect. I don't think, as much as I would love to see TNA stars on Raw and SmackDown, let's be honest here. If they appeared on Raw and SmackDown, I mean, they may be familiar and they may do well, but it's not the same. No, and to be honest, AEW screwed themselves up. Like, to be honest, and I'll say this, I don't think when TNA worked with AEW, I don't think AEW did jack shit with them, in all honesty. I think WWE working with TNA has been way more beneficial for TNA than anything else. I'm a little nervous about the AAA signing. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I know some people are nervous about TNA becoming another WWE farm system, but it's like, there's a reason why WWE's way of wrestling works long term. Because look, I get it that WWE isn't letting their guys doing pile drivers and Canadian destroyers everywhere, but it's possible. I don't know how they're gonna run AAA, but I just think that for people who criticize WWE trying to influence all the wrestling promotions to wrestle like WWE, there's a reason for that because WWE's way of wrestling is on the safe side. It really is. I mean, there's a reason why you have these guys wrestle all the time and stuff with the same similar movesets they're comfortable with because it's safe. And at the end of the day, you kind of want it to be safe because if guys get hurt, it kind of fucks everything up. Yeah, exactly. Like make it better like presentation and production, but let the wrestlers be them. Like let the luchas be luchas. Don't like change anything because who doesn't love lucha wrestling? Like lucha wrestling, I mean some of my first exposure to wrestling in general was like lucha style wrestling. So I don't think you need to change that. Especially from AAA, which is like one of the biggest wrestling promotions and most notable wrestling promotions in the world. I mean, why the fuck would you change a goddamn thing there? Except do little things to make it better, like production and stuff. But yeah, it's better than it was before. Like during the fucking Vince McMahon era, like if you watch Raw or SmackDown, you would have a fucking seizure because the camera was just literally shaking and darting around all the time. The camera work since Triple H took over is like 1,000,000% better. Like it isn't 100% perfect, but it's way better than it was before. Yeah, the strike stuff, yeah, it can be a little dodgy with that. I mean, but that's typical wrestling stuff, though. I think just faking punches and stuff that can be a tricky thing because you don't want to because strikes and kicks they can if you land them they hurt and you don't want to. It's just hard to pull off a little. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. Like I've typically don't notice the no context stuff typically when I watch, but there's definitely times where I'm just like, oh yeah, that didn't make contact at all. Oh man, there's been yeah, but you know what? I mean I can live with that. It's just for me. I just think that yeah, the camera edits. Yeah, I guess if I really looked at it, I would notice, but hard cam. Oh, like we're there. Yeah, yeah. I will say this, and I've been to a few wrestling events live in my local area, and it's a whole different ball game. Like watching wrestling on TV, I struggle with a lot. Like playing games and doing these events, um, I'm pretty good with for the most part. I mean, I enjoy doing the streams and events and stuff. I like doing that, but watching wrestling live, that's probably my favorite way to consume wrestling because the energy and the vibes are just like perfect for that. But watching it on TV, like I struggle. I'm not gonna lie because it just feels like either there's not enough going on or there's too much going on. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why. And it's funny because my parents actually went to a wrestling event in the 80s like WWF event and they said, "Oh yeah, this stuff looks so fake." I'm just like yeah, probably then it kind of did because well, they watched it on TV in the 80s and they enjoyed it and then they went to a live event and the camera cuts and all that weren't there, so they saw more stuff. Now, granted, when I watched wrestling live like in my local area, I didn't notice like the fake stuff. Like it felt like pretty legit when I watched it. But I think a lot of that too is because I just wanted to believe in the magic of wrestling and didn't want to peek behind the curtain when I watch it. Kind of like theater a little bit, because obviously in theater when they try to do all the tricks and stuff, it's obviously fake, but you want to believe in it so much you kind of ignore that. Yeah, I think it's better now because wrestlers are so much quicker now. Like back in the day, a lot of wrestlers were very slow moving, and the moves were very basic. Yeah, but yeah, man, wrestling live is just another animal. I think that's why these of like doing the streams is fun because it's very close to like a live wrestling thing because when you watch it live on an actual wrestling event, the you feel the energy of the match. And you don't always get that with TV. Like you can get it sometimes during big events when big shit's happening, like Cena turning heel or Cody winning the title. I mean, you feel it. You get so excited. Yeah, the money has gone up a ton. Like so much. It's definitely it's definitely a lot more expensive now. And you see, if AEW is smart, they would have saw like, oh, WWE is expensive. Oh, we're cheap and we'll give you more matches and more wrestling action. You know, and they're not doing that. Like if I was AEW, if I really wanted to stick it, be like, yeah, these are expensive. Come to our show for like $50 or something like that. You know, like there's so many little things AEW could do to one up WWE, and they're not doing it. Like they want to criticize WWE, but then they do shit that makes their product suffer just because WWE doesn't do it. Ugh, yeah, not worth it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, in terms of streaming schedule, I do plan on streaming again tomorrow. It's gonna be day 3 of this, and yeah, the cage, yeah, that makes it rough. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think they have lots of screens at the event, so you could catch stuff on the screen that you can't catch while it's happening. But yeah, it's a little tough. But yeah, streaming schedule. I'm doing this again tomorrow. The main event's gonna be for the hardcore title, TWN hardcore title. That Finley's gonna be defending from IGW. That'll be an open challenge as well. Um, but yeah, um, yeah. When people go back and watch this video, they're thinking, "Man, a 2-hour event. What big shit happened here?" And it's just me ranting how WWE can be better, like half of it. Uh, I know I say all this about them, but at the end of the day, I do think they're the better American wrestling promotion. Like, because in all honesty, like, as stream title, oh man, I might add it in the description. I might do that. Um, but yeah, it's better than AEW, and I say this because I just feel like AEW just I don't know. Like it's like they had this flash when they first started, but I feel like Khan got in his head that he couldn't do anything WWE does. Otherwise, WWE was the enemy, and he did these stupid decisions that made it worse. Like stuff like not dividing the rosters up on the shows and stuff like that, because WWE does that, and it's like just because they do it doesn't mean it's a bad thing to do. Like you can do good ideas from other promotions and do it there and have it be okay. All of it's on HBO now. All of it's on Max now. So it is watchable, especially pay-per-views and stuff, but at the same time I'm just like I just don't feel it, you know? I don't feel that magic. Like and that's what makes WWE a little bit above AEW's. I feel like WWE gets that you need that magic in key matches to make it work. AEW gets it sometimes, but I don't think it's because of the booking. I think it's because of the wrestlers. I think any good booking that does happen on AEW is because the wrestlers push for it and not Tony Khan. Because I don't think Tony Khan books jack shit. I think he worked better with wrestlers when they first started to get good storylines going. Because when they first started, they definitely had good stuff going. It's just nowadays, I just feel like It's just whatever people want to do at the moment, and we'll just go from there. That's just the vibe I get, and it's just like this. It just feels like if you grabbed it, I feel like you got an indie promotion and gave them like a huge ass budget, they would do it better than AEW. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole Tony Storm Ryan May rivalry and all that. That was great. But we don't know if that's because Tony did shit or if like Tony Storm and Mariah May put it together and made it the way they made it. You know, it's so hard to know like how Tony Khan does it, and it's like the only thing I know Tony Khan is he can't shut the fuck up about Japanese New Japan wrestling. You know, he can't shut up about it, and I get it. I love Japanese wrestling too, but my problem with it is that what are you doing with it? Because what is AEW's identity? What is AEW? Because even TNA has an identity. And and I get AEW doesn't really have much of a history to look back on because they're new. I get that, but it's like, what are you? Because when you were first formed, your identity was, hey, at least we're not at WWE. But you can't do that anymore because people like WWE now. So what do you do? You know, like you don't really have much of a history. You can't keep talking about great wrestlers from the past because those wrestlers weren't your wrestlers. You can't be like, oh yes, Sting, one of the greatest wrestlers ever, and it's like, yeah, he was a great wrestler, but he's not an AEW wrestler. He was a WCW guy, you know. Like he may be wrestling for you, but just because he wrestled for you doesn't mean he's an AEW guy. You know what I mean? Like AEW guys are like MJF and Hangman Page and those kind of guys. Those are AEW guys. Like I don't know. I just feel like that. I feel like they try to appropriate wrestling histories to bolster themselves up to make them seem like they're like this big time wrestling promotion. Like when they do the Owen Hart shit, it's like is an LW guy. That is true. That is very true. That is very true. So we can make him half AEW. We'll make it a half a thing. Like so some and a half. And freaking AEW in yes, I remember when I did research on MJF that he had some big stables in MLW. It's just and even MJF isn't as good as he used to be. How do you fuck up MJF like that? Yeah, he was great. And then when he won that title, probably one of my favorites wrestling promos ever. One of my favorites is after the Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. Probably one of the best Iron Man matches ever. I will say this about AEW: they may not do great storytelling, but in terms of match quality, especially during their prime and even now for the most part, I will put a little above WWE. Even though WWE still puts on great matches too in their own right. But it was great. And then MJF had the press conference, and he was just so like MJF, and he was like hobbling around yelling and talking about he's the man now and all that. I'm just like, you see, this is the shit that I want to see. You see, this is awesome shit because the thing with MJF is that if you look into the words, it feels like a babyface promo, but that guy is not a babyface. He is still a heel, and it's just like, man, it's just like this is awesome. Like this is your guy here. This him being champion was perfect. And then the Adam Cole story, which was fun. It was fine, and I liked the seeds they were planting, but then everyone got hurt. Like everyone. And then they had to stop doing the story, and then when they tried starting up again, everything was different. And it just flopped. And it's just like, man, MJF was hurt. He would need a time off anyway, and that's fine. But why the fuck would you change his character like that? MJF as a babyface can work, but he was such a good heel. So competitive, so good at shit talking. Like, he was everything that you need in a current day wrestler. Like, without him being like super flashy. Like, he was a great current day wrestler that wasn't doing 450 splashes every other day, every other match, and Canadian destroyers all over the arena. You know, and man, it's just like as much as I want to see him in WWE, I feel like the language restrictions, even now with WWE, I don't know if it would click well. I just want to see him and him right. Yeah, exactly. He's so believable, and him fighting to be a member of like the Hurt Syndicate. I don't know. It's just like, why is he fighting to be a part of a stable? That formed from another promotion. Like, why is he fighting for this? Like, what's he has to prove? Because he was an AEW champion. He was like whatever champion he was for a little bit too. Why is he trying to be chummy with Bobby Lashley and all them? You know, like I don't get what they're going for with that. Because if it was me, if I had MJF and I was at a cross with him, I would. I don't know. I I just keep it simple and just book him an old school blood feud. Like let him be MJF, let him shit talk, let him just go all out. Like pair him up with a guy that like that's CM Punk MJF. Yeah, he is. Like I agree, he should be. Like if he's gonna be in a stable, he should be the leader. Yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine like him just doing his thing, and then a fucking dude love like character just comes down to help him with the dance and everything, and he's just like, oh, what the fuck is that? That'd be great. You could totally do that, and you can hell repeat it beat to beat. Have the lovable, joyful hippie like guy sell out and betray him. You know, and you don't even have to change MJ. To be honest, I feel like MJF is the type of wrestler where he could be the exact same character and he could be a face or a heel, kind of like Razor Ramon. Like Razor Ramon doesn't have to change jack shit and he can be babyface or a heel. MJF is kind of like that guy. Like, why would you change his character? Don't change his character. Have him be exactly the same. Have him be a shit talking, like arrogant asshole, but you can still have him be a babyface because you could also do it on the other flip, and you could have him be a guy that knows how to beat guys and like walks the walk while talking the talk. You can flip it on that end too. There's just a lot of stuff they could do with that. But no, like, and all the arrogance of Tony Khan being like, oh yeah, the four pillars of AEW, all Japan all Japan Pro Wrestling, and then like one or two of them already left the company and all that, and it's just like this arrogant shit, just like, oh yeah, we got four pillars too, and it's just like, this is so stupid. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, you just jinx yourself with this shit. I mean, and I love Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin should have been a world champion a long time ago. But here's the thing, all the faces I recognize from AEW as big, strong faces that they need pushed, like wrestlers, they're all tiny guys. They don't have any big guys outside of MJF that they're pushing, and that's a mistake because okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. All right. I gotta start. All right. I'm gonna have to get going with this. I've been doing this for over an hour with the ranting. I need to stop before I have a seizure. Darby's very good. He's very good. It's just the problem was he spent so much time like teaming up with Sting. He kind of stopped doing the single stuff. But the thing is, they got a lot of great wrestlers. It's just the sizes. Like, look at Hook. Hook's great. He's just not big guy. If he put on some weight and got stocky like his dad, it'd probably be a different story. But if you're gonna push guys, they need to be guys that can compete with each other. Like Hook, I don't know how Hook is gonna do against MJF. That's the problem. Like you need to push guys that can compete with each other. And this is kind of where I get what Hogan says about the size thing when he's talking about, believability and stuff. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like on one hand, like you can have a Rey Mysterio beat a Kevin Nash, but it's like at the same time, it's like, how often do you want to go to that well? At some point, you have to be like, okay, this small guy isn't going to beat the big guy. They gotta mesh better. Close, but yeah, I'm gonna have to head off here. But like I said, I'll be streaming again tomorrow. It'll be day 3. Main event's gonna be TWN Hardcore Title Online Open Challenge. Any promotion can pull their head in the ring. Could be a multi-man match too, as well, if more than one person do it. You too, Gray Man. Um, but yeah, that's what I got planned for tomorrow. Nothing else for tonight. But yeah, that's gonna do it here. Thanks for watching, guys. In case you guys want to chat with anyone at the camping company, you didn't want to use the YouTube comments section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that about page / about section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well. You can access that anywhere at any time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.